Welcome back to Crystal Clear! I'm Vox, and with Steven Universe Future, we are given a surprising handful amount of brand new villains. This limited epilogue series to Steven Universe isn't just busting out one brand new crazy antagonist, but presents 7 different potential foes Steven will go up against throughout the season. Although yes, there's seemingly only one brand new character present. Let's run through and break down Steven's new rogue gallery, what could be going on with every antagonist here, and how they could all feed into an overarching narrative. Now, of course, spoiler warning. If you do not want to know any potential information regarding Steven Universe Future, click off now. And with that said, let's dive in. I find myself highly impressed by the opening sequence for Future, as not only does it show they were able to go all out for this final season, but more or less, they were able to produce their own take on an anime opening within 20 seconds, hitting all the tropes. From the colorful cast of characters giving a warm welcome, to running in an open field, to an ominous lingering shot of villains. Of course, the theme song for Future is a reworked version of Happily Ever After from Steven Universe the movie. Yet, whereas the original song would say nothing to fear, no one to fight, Future provides us with ominous backing vocals, implying these are enemies for Steven to fight and fear. So I want to hit each character present here from an order of interest and what I feel to be stakes. So of course at the bottom of that chain would be Cactus Steven, seemingly a mutated cactus with 5 visible Steven faces bulging out, sporting 3 arms and 2 legs. It's pretty straightforward stuff. However, the bigger questions are probably how did this thing come to be, and why would it present itself as a threat to Steven? Why would it harm what is sure to be its creator? Starting with the former, I have 2 big ideas. 1, the Cactus Stevens could have been brought to life in the same manner that the Watermelon Stevens or Pumpkin were. Steven's saliva empowering grave strength and imbuing sentient life into the cactus. However, I also think it could be a consequence of Steven Universe the movie. Steven's healing powers and phytokinesis restored life destroyed by Spinell's injector. What if this cactus is an enemy that was a product of Steven resurrecting pieces of the planet? Rebecca Sugar did say the movie would have consequences to the series' future. Of course, a living cactus isn't the craziest consequence out there, and while I believe it may just be attacking Steven simply because that's its nature, I feel like even something this small can really affect Steven and set the tone for the season that these other villains can explore. Steven brought life to the planet. He objectively performed a good deed for no other reason than caring about his environment. Yet the environment is striking back at him, and the thing is, it's a cactus. I'm sure Steven would want to appease something that has any bit of sentience, trying to find even the smallest conscious, but ultimately it's a plan. The easiest and on paper, less stressful solution would to be simply annihilating it. And while I'm sure the Crystal Gems wouldn't have any gripes with that, how would Steven feel? The concept of putting down his own creation, who again, he provided for, and would be met with hostility and violence. Steven Universe is always great at using its smaller episodes to give us an appetizer of these heavier, darker scenes. Many people want just one villain who can't be redeemed, but that's something they would really have to build up to. And although Rebecca Sugar has teased it, stating that she couldn't comment on the potential of Steven having someone he can't reason with, I don't think it's something they could do so bluntly. This would be a great way to cross into that narrative. Steven has been on a winning streak. He's on cloud 9. So I think even the smallest inconveniences would get to him. And while I definitely don't think this cactus will be around for more than one episode, in fact, I'm anticipating this to either be like the season premiere or within those first few batch of episodes. Just imagine how not even dark but unsettling of an ending that episode would have if during the entire duration of the episode Steven was trying to appease to a cactus of all things. And yet all that effort just goes to waste. The cactus just gets destroyed. It's a wrap. There is no saving that thing. There is no point of putting all that energy into nothing. It'd be such a small stepping stone that would mean so much in the grand scheme of things. So although a walking plant with Steven faces may seem kinda goofy, I definitely think that if I'm remotely onto something, it's earned its place in the opening. But that being said, let's move on to Jasper. Now, I've already said a lot about Jasper. For the last month, I've really been driving home the theory that Jasper would resist change. She would resist everything Steven has done and would try to start a rebellion on Homeworld. She has influence, she has determination, and Jasper, even if it's for the wrong reasons, is passionate. but she also has a lot of self-loathing. She hates the Earth, and she hates herself due to stemming from Earth. That in itself already makes it hard for Steven to appease to Jasper. So seeing her here in the theme song, it was gratifying, but again, I've already been preaching what she could do for such a long time that I feel like I'd be beyond a broken record. Just from a design standpoint, I can't be surprised Jasper's a villain. Like, she got uncorrupted with double horns. That's pretty on the nose. And I really believe she would be a driving force in this season's story arc. That she'd be the catalyst to everything. After all, that's why she's front and sort of center. It's almost as if she's leading the charge of these onslaught of antagonists Steven has to face. Now, what I love about Jasper and why I'm glad she will be in an antagonistic role is that when she is a villain, she's someone who, especially at this point, can incorporate all of the crystal gems into the story. Everybody has stakes with her. Steven has the entire angle of Jasper believing he was rose quartz. And of course his ties to Pink Diamond that was uncovered after Jasper became corrupted. For Garnet and Pearl, Jasper's just someone they ran fades with throughout the series. She's trying to cut up, it's on sight. Straightforward enough. Amethyst, that's where things get complicated. Amethyst actually cares about Jasper. She wants Jasper to succeed and do well. The end of Change Your Mind showed that. Although it was muted due to the Change Your Mind rendition of We Are the Crystal Gems, the Crewniverse has confirmed that the words Amethyst mouthed to Jasper is "Hey sis." Yet when Steven the movie rolls around and Amethyst's verse in Happily Ever After concludes with a shot of what she considers family, Jasper isn't anywhere to be seen. I feel like there's still a lot more to explore there. Amethyst has found herself. She knows what is and isn't a waste of time. But she also knows Jasper was a significant turning point in her life. And in a way, it seems like Amethyst has a lot of respect for Jasper. So of course, I think there'd be a lot of heartbreaking potential between those two. But who knows, maybe Amethyst will just fully give up on Jasper. And again, going back into the potential theme of the season, it would cause Steven to realize maybe this isn't worth it. Peridot was obviously a part of the original Homeworld trio. Lapis and Jasper have their entire past. And Bismuth not only would protect her friends so she would have Lapis's back, but Biggs and Ocean Jasper were used as Jasper's pawns for an unspecified amount of time because Jasper wanted an army and now it looks like she's getting one. I'm sure Bismuth will have a lot of strong feelings about especially Biggs being used as a tool, a vehicle. However, I just want to make it clear, I think Jasper will be wild in on this season. I really do believe she'll have a rebellion of her own, that she has the chops and the leadership to carry out such a task. I think she'll be more mentally unhinged than we ever seen her before, that she'll be desperately trying to restore the old ways of Homeworld. Whether or not she can even get a redemption arc is a completely different topic. I truly think she's just in this mindset of, I'm going to fight till the end. This era of peace is a facade. But in terms of potential storylines and what she can do, those will be things we explore in future Crystal Clears. But going from there, I believe these remaining villains could actually be brought upon by Jasper. Jasper could be the catalyst, it could be the domino effect. Her rebellion just spiraling as things get worse and worse. And if you ask me, that little gem above Jasper is an example of things spiraling out of control, and what I believe to be a direct result of Jasper's influence and rebellion. Many people have recognized that this gem is likely our Aquamarine in some form. The exact same gemstone placement, and just given where we left off with Aquamarine, she didn't seem like someone who was going to change anytime soon. But here's the kicker. As many people have figured out by now, and as I believe I stated in my previous Crystal Clear, it's apparent that Aquamarine has fused, with whom I believe to be a Ruby. Not just any Ruby, but a member of the Ruby squad. Just going off the series, I feel like it could be two gems. Either A, Eyeball, or B, Navy. Now personally, I kinda want it to be Navy more, as although I love Eyeball, their actions were very understandable in the eyes of a soldier in a war. She was on a mission of revenge, and although it wasn't the most well-intentioned, trying to get a pearl out of it to name an example, that's still more mild than what Navy was doing. Navy was just out here bulling. Manipulated Steven, Garnet, Peridot, and Lapis into believing that she wanted to change, that she wanted to stay on Earth. And then, when they least expected anything, she turned the tables on them. Conning the gems out of the roaming eye, simply because she said she wanted to see the look on their faces when their favorite Ruby turned the tables on them. That is sociopathic. That is insane. That is worthy of fusing with the likes of Aquamarine. Like with Eyeball, you just get the anger. And as a blind follower of Jasper, it works out. But with Navy, you would get someone who's fusing and doing these heinous acts simply because they want to see Steven suffer. And I feel like Aquamarine falls under those same lines. She was this close to killing Jamie for pretty much no reason. Yes, it was to figure out where Aquamarine could acquire my dad, but it was also like, chill, like why you gotta go after Jamie? He's already in love with a giant lesbian. He doesn't need those problems. And while there are a lot of homeworld gems I'm anticipating to see in this potential rebellion, Navy is someone who I think would leave the biggest impression on the audience. So I'm really hoping this fusion is her, and people may make the argument, oh well, her gemstone isn't glowing. But we have to understand that this shot was stylized for the opening, and I'm pretty sure in the actual context of the show, no one's gemstones are glowing here, which may debunk a popular white diamond theory going around, but we'll get to that in a second. I really enjoy how this fusion looks. It's not just making a purple fusion because Aquamarine is blue and Navy is red. This is a predominantly blue fusion with red spots. Their uniform is half blue, half red. Like, that's awesome. And they appear to have 4 legs instead of 2. That's something I missed in my opening breakdown just because I wasn't sure honestly if it was an animation error or not. But as a fusion, that makes sense. I just like the idea of antagonists fusing, and it looks a little bit more rough because they have the worst intentions and they're kind of using fusion wrong, if that makes sense. Like, to say they're using fusion wrong would be kind of incorrect because they are on the same page, you know. Aquamarine and whichever Ruby she fused with can have a genuine relationship built off the hatred of Steven, but it is toxic. Whereas someone like Garnet, who's in a completely healthy relationship and is also comprised of a blue gem and a red gem, they have a strong relationship that's balanced and they understand each other. It's just a nice contrast that I wish we had in the original series, but hey, I'll take it now. And by making Aquamarine an antagonist, it really puts the gems in a difficult situation. We saw I Am My Mom. We saw what Aquamarine's wand can do to others, paralyzing multiple gems all at the same time. Now, let me propose a scenario. Yes, the diamonds are strong, so it's not too unreasonable that they could break through Aquamarine's wand like that. But what if Aquamarine gets more Aquamarines, or just more wands, and multiple homeworld gems that are rebelling use it against the diamonds? I don't think they could break through all of that. Even the diamonds have their limits, and I think the homeworld gems are somewhat aware of that, and they're going to exploit that because at this point, they're rebelling for a reason. They probably think they can run this entire planet better than the diamonds ever could. Moving on from this fusion, we have the 2 Lapis Lazulis. One with a gemstone on their arm, and one on their navel. And the one with the navel terrifies me. What other navel gems do we have? Yeah, we have Steven. But we have, again, Navy, and we have Pink Diamond or Rose Quartz, so I think that says enough. Lapis has been all about sunshine, rainbows, and giggles lately. I think these 2 Lapises are gonna change that. Lapis, as a character, she can be happy, but I think her angst and the reflection of her journey is integral to her character. She's someone who has been used over and over again, who has been surrounded in toxic relationships. So these other 2 Lapises, I feel like they could have an impact on her. Not only are they her peers, but I want to throw out the potential of these 2 Lapises being gems who maybe assisted Lapis when she came to Earth, assumably to terraform the Beta Kindergarten. That wasn't a task she performed alone. So why have they returned? Because they're part of Jasper's rebellion. And speaking of which, if we do get confirmation that yes, Lapis terraformed the Beta Kindergarten, these gems also assisted Lapis. I can see them being essentially like Jasper's bodyguards or Jasper's crew. Jasper has just amassed this harem of Lapis Lazulis. And hey, if she couldn't get 1 Lapis, now she has 2. Problem solved. But there's a lot of potential there. And we'll talk about that potential real soon in a different video. But just these Lapises being on Earth, like, we see what our Lapis could do with Earth's ocean. 2 Lapis Lazulis on the wrong side? The crystal gems have all the work cut out for them. I'm hoping we see Ocean Gem Part 2. All the crystal gems pulling up against all the water clones. Nothing that crazy would probably happen, but I can dream. And just for Steven, our Lapis was the first gem he really saved in a meaningful way that he could interact with. Someone who could thank him because she wasn't a corrupted gem. So to see Lapis is on the wrong side, trying to hurt and oppose Steven, that's going to mess him up. But I've always wanted to see Homeworld Lapises. I want to see how, in particular, Homeworld Lapises and Paradox would interact with our Paradigm Lapis. Would they experience some form of imposter syndrome even though they've owned their identity? Would they be impacted by their peers and what they think? It looks like we're finally going to get some sort of answer. And to get Lapis development, it just makes me happy. I'm someone who loves Lapis Lazuli, and I'm also someone who loves Jasper. But that doesn't mean I'm hooting and hollering over Malachite. Although yes, I think Malachite's a badass, that fusion is also representative of a toxic relationship. I'm not rooting for our Lapis and our Jasper to fuse together and make such a toxic being again. But I am very delighted that it seems as if we're gonna get Lapis and Jasper development and possibly see how that all intertwines. So then this takes us to White Diamond. I already want to get this out of the way. I don't believe that this is a new diamond or a different White Diamond or a Jasper and White Diamond fusion because White Diamond's nose is glowing. Again, it's stylized. I don't believe any of that. I just simply believe this giant unknown creature in the back is controlling White Diamond. Only other pinkish purplish thing on the screen, and White Diamond here is displayed as pink and purplish. But let's dig a little bit deeper. The show's art director posted the color concept of the opening, and originally in those color concepts, White Diamond was, well, white. So I think that already missed the notion of white being a fusion of some kind. And a fan commented, so it's just White Diamond and not a fusion. Cool. To which the art director responded with, well, this is an early color concept before Rebecca told me what she was supposed to be. I had to change her for the final, but the change is only in hue. Now yes, you can still argue, okay, that makes way for a fusion. I don't think it's Jasper at all. That's just point blank. Look what Jasper and Lapis created as a fusion. Look how that fusion looked. You think Jasper and White Diamond fusing would just change White Diamond's hue, but not the design? That doesn't make sense to me. People have also suggested the cluster, and this is an idea I would actually like to dig into and explore because I want the cluster to play a role in the series endgame, and the cluster is a loose end. But let me stop talking. White clearly looks as if she's overwhelmed and struggling for control, which is why I believe this beast in the background is the one pulling the strings. That White Diamond, the diamond with mind control powers, is, well, being controlled. She's being the puppet. And it makes sense to me thematically this would happen, as the diamonds are so powerful that of course if there are any threats around, they can take care of them just like that. However, if something happens to the diamonds, and especially White, that's where things get problematic. Because all you have to do is control White Diamond, and when in control of her, utilize her control powers to take control of others. I don't think this will build upon the diamonds trying to become better people. I think ultimately, while they probably will tie to the story in a meaningful way, it just serves to depower the diamonds and remove them as the Deus Ex Machina. So that leaves us with this beast in the bag. Now, an interesting theory has been going around that this being is actually Steven corrupted. I don't really agree with that, but we'll talk about it later. Now, the placement and presence of this creature cannot be underestimated. Do not think this is just a corrupted gem or something they'll take care of in an episode or two, that this gem isn't important or as powerful as White Diamond. To be the largest character, to be at the very top, and to be the only one animated in this shot is supposed to convey that this character is beyond important. And I do think it's very likely that this is the final villain of the series. Is it Sneeple? Perhaps. I don't believe that's a gem. I believe everything with corruption is done with. The characters who were corrupted still have that damage to explore, but I don't believe we're going to see another corrupted gem. I think this is a different being entirely. And I know people are often alarmed at the idea of Stevenverse introducing another species this late in the game, but I don't really understand that if we have a full season, why they couldn't pull that off. And yeah, you can argue, well, it took us so many episodes just to see more rubies, holly blue agate, emerald. So to just throw something at us like this bluntly would be kind of jarring. But I think Stevenverse has always been blunt with introducing new characters. Like the tell in season 1 was literally Lapis calling Steven saying, yeah, there are gems on the way, and we got Jasper out of it. The show has always moved at a fast pace when it's ready. So I don't think it'd be unfeasible to introduce a character that belongs to a different race. That just sounds like the fear of it being rushed, more than it being rushed 100% as a fact. But going back into those concepts I just stated earlier, what the season could be about, I just have this gut feeling about this character because they just look so inhuman. The gems are intentionally humanoid. They have human qualities. That's part of the reason why Steven is able to empathize with them and get through to them. I don't get that vibe with this character. I think they intentionally made the potential final antagonist as inhuman as possible, to convey that idea that Steven can't reason with everybody. Not everybody will be his friend. Not everybody will be willing to listen to him. Because ultimately, even if this character may end up having humanoid features, right now they look more animal than anything else. Let's just say it is a beast unable to properly communicate and does just want destruction, point blank. Steven can't reach through to that. And I think by making this character inhuman in design will really drive that home. Some people are just agents of chaos, and there's nothing Steven can do to change that. Now, I will do a deeper dive on what this character could be, as people have pointed out similarities with a creature in mythology, and I really just want more time to dedicate a well thought out analysis and discussion around this character. So please also be stay tuned for that. There's a lot to break down. We're in uncharted territory, even if it's for the final time, and I can't wait to see how it all turns out. But as always, these are just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. Out of all the brand new villains, which one piques your interest the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at OstrikVods. We're also on Instagram. Help Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. If you enjoyed the video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. OstrikVods, signing out.